call to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
All right, that was the moment. We begin with new support for Vice President Kamala Harris. Former President Barack Obama has endorsed the expected Democratic nominee. In a video, he and former First Lady Michelle Obama call Harris to congratulate her and offer to help support her campaign. Joining me now for more on this is CBS News political director Fin Gomez in our D.C. bureau. Fin, this is an expected endorsement for the Harris campaign, but what does this mean at this moment, especially with the upcoming DNC vote?
Good morning, Errol. Expected, yes. Significant, nonetheless. This is the last sort of major endorsement of key party leaders within the Democratic Party. The Obamas, in this joint statement, pointing to Vice President Harris's resume and saying essentially that she has a vision, she has a character, she has the character and the strength to win in the election that's only a little over 3 months away from today. Also notable, I thought, Errol, was at the end when they said, at a time when the stakes have never been higher, she gives us all a reason to hope. And if you recall, Errol, that word hope was central to the message of the former president's 2008 campaign in that successful bid to capture the White House.
That's right. Now, Harris said she's ready to meet former President Donald Trump on the debate stage. Let's just quickly play some sound of that for our viewers.
So many of you have been asking me about the debate, and I'll tell you, I'm ready to debate Donald Trump. I have agreed to the previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
So in this first week of the Harris campaign, she's hit record fundraising, there's enthusiasm, and now she's pushing Trump for a debate. How is the Trump campaign responding? Yeah,
the Trump campaign, specifically Stephen Chung, one of the former president's spokespeople, put out a statement saying that essentially that they essentially saying that it would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could still change their minds. A reference to, of course, that fluidity that we just saw in the last week. But you know, in a conference call with reporters a few days ago, I was on that call. The former president said that he'd be willing to debate and have more than just one debate. So right now, I think what you're seeing is some posturing, some maneuvering from both sides. There was that initial agreement with President Biden and former President Trump to debate on September the 10th with ABC News. President Trump backed out of that, essentially saying that they didn't know who the nominee was going to be. And now that there is, there's still that maneuvering. So I think that in the next few weeks, maybe prior to the convention, you could see some developments on that front, with both agreeing essentially that they do want to debate, just really not determining with whom and where. So that will be interesting. But that is expected, a presidential debate between those two. And we just saw some recent polling showing them both really at neck and neck nationwide within the margin of error. So things are tight. Last night on America Decides, our colleague Nancy Cordes spoke with Secretary of Commerce and a possible vice presidential contender for the Democrats, Gina Raimondo, about her chance of joining the ticket. Let's listen to that.
Nancy, I'm here in my official capacity as Commerce Secretary, so I can't and won't comment on my private conversations with the campaign. But obviously, it would be an honor to serve in that capacity, an honor for anybody. And it has certainly been my honor to serve alongside of Vice President Harris and have a front row seat these past few years to her incredible leadership.
I can't talk about it, but I'd love to do it. That's me paraphrasing what we just heard there. What are you hearing, Finn, about the search for a VP?
Yeah, Errol, the vetting is underway, as we reported, along with my colleague Nancy Cordes and also my colleague Aaron Navarro. A couple days ago, CBS News was first to report that there are at least 12 names, or approximately 12 names, of potential VP contenders, including Andy Beshear from Kentucky, J.B. Pritzker from Illinois, Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, and also Senator Mark Kelly, a name that recently I've been hearing more and more about. But also, along with Secretary Raimondo, is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. There's a lot of heavy hitters here. Several Democrats have told me in recent days they feel they have a strong bench, and now that they're illustrating through this process the strength of this bench. But yes, within the next couple weeks, less than that, there's the deadline of August 7th.
Right.
We have been told that this announcement will happen before that expected date. So
And we
keep
also
a lookout.
Yeah, and we know that there may be some unelected folks, some folks we
That's
don't
right.
expect on the short list as well. Finn, I want to quickly ask you about the meeting from yesterday VP Harris had with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Of course, the war in Gaza continues to rage. There's a potential ceasefire and hostage deal on the table, we understand. Let's quickly listen to this.
The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire, including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely, and it would lead to a permanent end to the hostilities.
Finn, what more do we know about potential timeframes of this deal?
Well, there was a statement that was put out yesterday following that meeting with President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu, essentially saying that the need to close the remaining gaps, finalize the deal as soon as possible, and bring the hostages home, and also reach a durable end to the war in Gaza was something key here. There was a significant, I believe, a different tone than we've heard in recent weeks with Vice President's remarks following her meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, essentially acknowledging the significance of the issue, but also somewhat speaking to, I think, a larger part of the Democratic Party, especially some of those critics, towards the sort of steadfast support by President Biden towards Israel. Some of those pro-Gaza, for that pro-Gaza wing of the Democratic Party. Errol.
All right, Finn Gomez in Washington for us this morning. Finn, thank you.